Hello, and welcome to Hope, Despair, and Memory, Lesson 11, Paradoxes in Hope, Despair, and Memory. In previous lessons, we have spent time reading texts that deal with social injustices. Today, we will read paragraphs 14 through 23 of Hope, Despair, and Memory by Elie Wiesel. We will also further our understanding of terminology concerning memory and Wiesel's experiences. To do this, and for this lesson, you will need your annotated copy of Hope, Despair, and Memory. This was posted back in the Lesson 4 post. You will also need your Semantic Map handout and your Reading Response Journal posted in today's post for this lesson. I now want you to read paragraphs 14 through 23 of Hope, Despair, and Memory. As you read, I want you to boldface words that are important to the concept of memory, words that are unknown to you, or words that are used figuratively and not literally. You will have about 15 minutes to complete this part. Please begin. Listen as I model how to use the semantic map to analyze the word paradox. Semantic maps help us learn a vocabulary word by deeply analyzing that word. Now, I'm going to be looking at the word paradox. So where you see the word and type word here, I'm going to be replacing that with the word paradox. Where do we find the word paradox in context in Hope, Despair, and Memory? It's in this sentence. No generation has had to confront this paradox with such urgency. I need you to go to dictionary.com and look up the word paradox and find me a concise definition for paradox. Paradox means a self-contradictory and false proposition. What clues are in the text to help us understand what paradox means? The words reconcile, as well as the opposites memory and forget. What does this tell us about the text? That there are opposing ideas being presented. The idea of hope versus the idea of despair. The idea of memory versus the idea of forgetting, for example. How many syllables are in paradox? What about the prefixes and roots and parts of speech? Well, there are 3 syllables in paradox. Paradox does have a prefix, which is para, and that would mean the root is dox, and it's a noun. What about synonyms? What are some words that mean similarly to paradox? So we're going to use thesaurus.com for that, and to find the antonyms as well. Synonyms would be contradiction, enigma, and puzzle. Antonyms would be normality, truth, and answer. And then if you look at the illustration that I found, it says the red button is blue and the blue button is false. So now let's figure out the rest of the map. And the rest of our map is simply the sentence, our new sentence. And my new sentence that I'm going to use with paradox is, often to solve a paradox, one must reconcile a set of opposites. Now I want you to complete a semantic map for one of the words that you bolded in your reading earlier in this lesson. You will have about 8 minutes to complete your semantic map. Be sure to use both thesaurus.com and dictionary.com as you work. Again, you'll have about 8 minutes to complete this activity. Okay, the first thing I want you to do is, in your head, I want you to paraphrase this quotation. How are we to reconcile our supreme duty toward memory with the need to forget what is essential to life? No generation has had to confront this paradox with such urgency. Then I want you to answer the following question in your reading log. What is significant about this quotation given your previous understanding of Wiesel's argument concerning memory? You will have about 12 minutes to complete this activity. If you do not finish this activity in those 12 minutes, you will need to complete it for homework. As you work through this question, I want you to think about the following questions. What is Wiesel saying here that is contrary to his original argument? And how is this a paradox? Again, you'll have about 12 minutes to complete this part. But I'm going to go ahead and close out the lesson so you'll have plenty of time to work. Congratulations! You have completed Lesson 11 of the Hope, Despair, and Memory unit. In this lesson, you learned additional terminology important to Wiesel's argument concerning memory. You also learned how to deepen your understanding of words by examining their connections to other words. Now you may work on your reading response journal.